Welcome to Alternative Investments Chat,
where we demystify the world of alternative investments and financing for entrepreneurs and investors alike.
With these discussions, we hope you're more empowered to unlock opportunities in your business or portfolio. I'm Erin.
And I'm Erica. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Alternative Investments Chat. Today, we're diving into structured investment products. So these bad boys are like the goodie bag that you get at the Oscars or the Golden Globes. So they're filled with a bunch of stuff that you never knew existed. You probably don't need, but it's kind of fun to have, right? We get our goodie bags are from Sephora these days. So, you know, sometimes they're like, we threw in some extra samples. You're like, oh, I've never even heard of this brand. Anyway, these tools might be very complex, or these products are a little on the complex side.
Sure.
But if you're a cautious investor who likes custom strategy, these could be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Again, but if you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to think of it as the combo meal, if you will, that you might get at a fast food restaurant. What's your favorite fast food place, Erica?
I don't eat fast food.
You don't eat it at all. That's a lie. You had Freddy's the other day.
Okay, fine. I'll call Freddy's. That's that's only if I'm at work and I don't have time to go sit at a restaurant.
Okay, liar.
Okay,
All
actually,
right.
You know what? I take that back. Taco Bell. And
Yeah, see,
I do
you
love
eat fast food more than me, low key.
Yeah, no, I don't eat it enough. I'm just saying, if I had to pick, if I was dying and I don't know why I'm going to be on death row, but who knows in the future, I would pick Taco Bell.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah, I don't eat fast food a lot. Well, In-N-Out. I eat In-N-Out, a couple times a year, but. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so with SIPs, this being the combo meal, you have a little bit of combination of a few things. You have stocks, you have bonds, derivatives, and whatever else an advisor might have laying around that they want to just whip up and put together. But before investing in a structured investment product, we want to ask all of the appropriate questions. Right. What's the risk? What's the return? Is there a secondary market? And most importantly, do I get a toy with my combo meal?
You better.
Yeah, you would hope.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack here. So let's get started. What exactly are structured investment products?
Great. You'd mentioned it earlier, structured investment products, or SIPs, not to be confused with sips of wine, which I refrain from while actually doing the research on this. This was a very technical episode, so definitely wanted some wine with this. They are actually prepackaged investments that usually combine multiple financial instruments. So think of it kind of like a financial smoothie.
Sure.
The advisor throws in a few ingredients into that blender, maybe some bonds, like you said, a splash of stocks, a scoop of those derivatives, and voila, there you go. You've got, a perfect smoothie. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, well, can't I just have all those little ingredients by themselves?
Sure.
But no, they say, no. Blending it's better. When you do it, the almond skin, whatever, there's more flavor. You get better nutrients and vitamins. The skin comes off. I don't know.
Sounds like an Erewhon, Hailey Bieber smoothie ad.
It clears your skin, grows your hair, and somehow puts money in your bank.
Yeah.
I'll take 2, please. So blending is better. You get more when it's all blended together.
Sure.
So it's designed to give you certain returns under certain conditions, but that is only if all those beautiful stars align, right?
Right, exactly. So there are 3 main parts in a SIP, or you'll also hear SIPs sometimes too, depending on who you're talking to. But number 1, you have your bond or deposit component. This is the boring part. Boring. That protects your money. So boring but important. Kind of a little bit like bubble wrap. A derivative or options component. This is where a little bit of the spice is. You're starting to get some flavor going. This links your returns to something else. This could be like the S&P 500, gold or oil, or maybe goat milk futures, which we've talked a bit about futures on this pod as well. There's also a payoff structure. Now, this might be where you might be the most interested. This is the fine print that says you'll get X% if Y happens, and then you'll get Z% if a pigeon lands on a power line over here. Not really, but they'll tell you a little bit of the outline of the deal and what's going to happen with your returns.
Okay, so like you said, it's really a deal. So the issuer is basically saying like, hey, if the market does well, then we'll give you this. But if the market does something else, you might just get your money back, or maybe less, or
Yep.
like a coupon to, I don't know, pick said chain that's gross.
Something.
Chili's,
Yeah,
Applebee's.
Chili's.
I'm sorry, not trying to be. Chili's and Applebee's are great. Okay,
We're bringing back the chains.
We're bringing back
okay,
the
we're
chains.
bringing back the chains. It's important. It's an important movement in America.
I like it.
Anyways, yes. So again, very important to look at the fine print there. And sometimes there's even something called a capital guarantee, which means that you are promised. You kind of hinted at this to at least get your initial investment back.
Yeah.
Other times there are no guarantees. Biggest fear of my life.
Yeah.
No big guarantees in life. But this means prepare yourself, proceed with caution, be brave because you're on your own.
Yeah.
But the real questions here are, why are these styles of investing actually rising in popularity, and why are people even buying them?
Exactly. That's a great question. So in uncertain markets, it typically equals a need to be a little bit creative when you're investing. So traditional investing today is worse than a roller coaster at your local fair. We've all been to one of those. You know, you never really want to see like a 15-year-old that's in charge. You hear I mean, I just watched Final Destination, so sorry, that's where my brain goes. Anyway, stocks go up, they go down, they go sideways, they do black flips, they're all over the place. And then we have bonds, and those are like, meh, I don't like bonds. They just remind me of grandmas and grandpas.
Yeah, grandma
we
gets you
love.
a bond.
Which we love, grandmas and grandpas, but like
It's smart, but it's not very exciting.
It's not exciting at all.
Yeah.
So structured products offer tailored risk return profiles. So what this means is that you can potentially earn returns even if the market goes nowhere.
Right.
So they offer downside protection, like you mentioned. So a lot of structured products actually include a safety net. So like if the S&P totally tanks, which some days I feel like it's doing that because I check my stocks. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you get a little nervous.
where did the line go? It's off my computer screen somewhere. Anyway, they'll say something like, we'll protect 90% of your investment. So that's a good chunk. It's like a helmet, you know, just in case you crash. You don't want that your financial brain going anywhere. So anyway, so there's lower interest rates too that play into this. And then you have the higher ones. So when all this was happening, it makes people look at different ways of investing.
Sure.
So for a while, we had those savings account, just a regular savings account, and they were earning interest so low.
Right.
Honestly, it was like watching paint dry. Like even that would have been better to do than watch
More
the
exciting.
lowest amount of interest be earned on your savings account. I watched my savings account, and I one time got a penny, and I was like, woo! And like the most I'd ever gotten on my return was 11 cents. I was like, oh, I'm going to spend those 11 pennies
you better hold on
real
to those.
good. So, but now rates have gone up, but structured products, they're still really offering custom combos here. So, and they can outperform bonds and stocks and all that good stuff, depending on the structure. That's why I want them. So what would you say some of the other reasons these products are trending?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say one of the other biggest things is customization. It's like,
We like that.
yes, it's like a new TikTok trend. Everybody wants to try it out.
Yeah.
Investors love to say that they want 80% protection, exposure to clean energy stocks, and it needs to mature in 3 years. They can kind of make their own sort of deal that is customized and unique to them and their needs.
Yeah.
And structured investment products can actually do that. It's a little bit like, you know, Build-A-Bear, bringing back Build-A-Bear for finance nerds, you know.
Saw a lot of those ads, and I'm like, I never really got into that, but
Yeah, Build-A-Bear's coming back. Again,
I believe
chains are coming back and Build-A-Bear is coming back. These are
world is
important
changing.
American institutions. Anyways, so not to mention too, bank and wealth managers are actually pushing them or suggesting, maybe let's say something nice, suggesting them
that's a
to
nice way.
potential investors. Banks actually like structured investment products
Yeah.
because they make fees. So it's in their interest to have people invest in them. And when advisors need those differentiated options for their individual clients, these products can look really attractive to the clients. They're a way for firms to stand out. It's, you know, like saying, Erica, like I made you this, bespoke boutique, investment just for you.
Little old me, why thank you.
Yes, and it feels very, special, right? And everybody wants something that's bespoke or artisanal. If you look at Panera, speak of chains.
Chains, here we go
Chains. They are using those words all over their menu. And I don't know about you, but to me, Panera doesn't really scream artisanal, but, it makes you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Then there's also, FOMO. FOMO's huge.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a piece of FOMO, and then there's that sophistication. You feel like, as an investor, you don't want to be left out. If everyone is talking about these structured notes and market-linked CDs, you're going to want to, hey, what's all the hubbub about?
Yeah.
So to sum it up, structured investment products are trending because they offer these custom strategies, a bit of the downside protection, and a chance to get creative in these unique and weird markets.
Yeah.
But remember, custom doesn't mean risk-free, right? Those are two different words, to be clear.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. So structured products, they may sound like a dream. As we've talked about, you get to mix and match and make it all your own, but you get market exposure, like I said, downside protection, you mentioned that. However, you just need to remember that sometimes those dreams have a plot twist, and it could be straight out of a horror movie if you're not careful.
Yep.
Got to really, really pay attention. So let's break down some of those big risks of SIPs. So one, there's that we mentioned multiple times, there's that complexity. So think like a Rubik's Cube meets tax code. Those things really don't go together. And plus, I mean, if you're
like my worst nightmare.
I was going to say, and if you're like me, I had a Rubik's Cube. I fiddled with it. I never solved it a day in my life. In fact, my sister took some of the colors off and just solved it that way. You take the little things off.
And honestly, that's a big brain move. I appreciate that about you.
I thought it was genius. Although I did think she solved it, which made me very mad. But then you can't really solve it when that happens. But neither here nor there. So
it's about you.
Yeah. Always. So these products are complicated. Have you ever tried to explain like algebra to like a baby or a dog and they're just like straight looking at you, or a dog's doing the head tilting thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what like these products are like. If you don't fully understand the payout formula, that's going to be you. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
I haven't tried the algebra thing, but maybe I'll give that a go.
Yeah. So you could be for a very rude awakening if you don't understand the complexity of these products.
Totally.
So another risk would be the credit risks. So you need to ask yourself, who am I even lending to? Your returns and even sometimes your principal depend on the bank or issuer not going belly up. Have you ever thought about that? So if your structured product is issued by Sketchy Bank of America, then and they disappear.
Not Bank of America,
No,
but a
Sketchy Bank of
in America.
Sketchy Bank of nowhere. How about that?
Yeah, there we go.
Sketchy Bank of
No shade to Bank of America.
No, we like B of A. They disappear to the Bermuda Triangle or the Florida Triangle or the whatever triangle. If you want to learn about all the triangles in America, there's a great episode on the last podcast on the left. They cover all of them. I didn't know about all the triangles.
Shout out.
Shout out to them. But if they disappear, good luck getting your money back. Who are you supposed to call?
Yeah.
Not Ghostbusters. That's for damn sure. Anyway, and then you also have those liquidity risks. So what happens if you need to pull your money early? What do you do?
I don't know.
Nada. Too bad, so sad, as my dad would say.
Yeah.
Too bad, so sad. You lost it. She
SOL.
gone. She gone. So many structured products, they don't have an active secondary market. So which means if you're selling it before maturity, it could be like trying to get out of, I don't know, like a gym membership.
Okay.
You go and you're like, hey, I don't use this very often. I'd like to cancel my membership. And they're like, oh, you're not allowed.
That's how it feels, for sure.
That's exactly how it feels. And then you go back and you do it many times. Anyway, you just end up leaving massively frustrated and you've lost money and you're still not swole.
Yeah.
So I don't, Okay. Well, I just made myself really upset.
You just lost all across the board.
If you want to tell us, the listeners, what are the other risks? Because now I'm going to sit here and pout for a second.
Yeah, you do that. There's also market risks. Now, I know that we had mentioned that you have a little bit of protection, but you're still depending on how the underlying asset actually performs, like the stock index or interest rate. rates. So remember that protection has its limits. If the market drops by 40% and your buffer only covers the 10, well, guess who's, in charge of the other 30%?
You.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
There's also something called a capped upside, and you might be protected on the way down, but there's usually a cap on how much you can earn on the way up. So, you gain some, you lose some.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons to everything. So if the market booms, and which is good, right? You want the market to boom because that means your investment is growing. Well, you might only get the silver as opposed to the gold that you were hoping for because you have that capped upside. There's also something called call risks. Some structured products can be called early on by the issuer, and this means that they end before you wanted out of the investment, before you thought that the investment would be done or whatever. So imagine being, kicked off of the tippy top of a roller coaster ride. You're like, this is it.
Yeah.
Here we are. Here's the drop. No, you got to get out.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a bummer, and you don't even get a refund for your investment.
Ride's over.
Yeah.
Like,
thanks for coming.
What happened?
Yeah. You're like, I didn't even get the thing I wanted.
Yeah.
Also, something to consider are the fees and hidden costs that are associated. There can be some, significant fees that are baked into these structured investment products.
Yeah.
Things like structuring fees, distribution fees, hedging costs, and your return might already be a net of those fees. So it's like when you're flying a budget airline, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
And, you have to pay for not only the ticket, but you also have to pay for your seat. You have to pay for your baggage. You have to pay to breathe,
That's a big one.
Yeah, just hold your breath the whole way, I guess. So yeah, you gotta keep your eye out.
I see. So look, structured investment products, they're not inherently bad, okay? But they're definitely not for everybody. You've got to know the risks, read the fine print, and maybe bring a financial advisor, a flashlight, some snacks, I don't know, just to make sure you have all of your bases covered.
Yep.
So now that you've heard the good and the bad, you're thinking to yourself, all right, I'm still in. Let's go. I still want to jump on this roller coaster. So how would an investor actually get started on investing with SIPs? So we've decided in this episode to break it down to 5 quick steps.
Yep. Let's start with step 1, naturally.
To normally where you start.
It's normally where you start. Know thyself, to thine own self be true.
There we go.
I don't even know where that's from. What is that from? I don't know.
We'll write it down and Google it later.
Yeah, fact check. So there's also, you need to know yourself and you need to know the risk tolerance.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, how much risk can I actually stomach?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of person are you? This is an existential question that you should be pondering.
Yes.
Structured investment products can be customized for different risk levels, which is good, but some come with principal protection and others do not. So you want to take a look at that. If market volatility makes you queasy, maybe start conservative. And I would just say start conservative in general with investing. If you're getting started, this is certainly not a beginner's step.
No.
But just in general, I would say start conservative. You can always go more. Step 2, you want to set your goals.
Got it.
What are you looking for? Do you want income? Do you want growth? Do you want that downside protection? Structured investment products are a bit like playlists. You can make one to fit any sort of mood or vibe that you have, but you just got to know what you're going for first.
Right. Are you driving East Coast or are you driving West Coast? Those are 2 different playlists,
Great
right?
question. Daytime, nighttime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you did step 1 and step 2. So step 3 is talk to a pro. And when we say this, we've said this a lot, we actually mean seriously do it. Okay. So these products are complex. We cannot say this enough. So we're talking layered legal jargon stuff. Like you're looking at it going, is this Latin complex? So bring a licensed financial advisor or a wealth manager who can break it down for you to find the actual product that actually is going to make sense for you.
Right.
Because they're not the same. Step 4, start small. Test before you jump in that water. So you don't need to go all in. Start with a small allocation, like you were saying, there are complex. So just start little. Like dip your toe in the pool before you just want to go ahead and do a dive, cannonball in. Although I hear that is the way to do it, so that the water, you get used to the water faster.
Yeah, that's
I
what
am
they
not
say.
that. I'm not that style of swimmer. Okay. Don't commit your entire profile, your portfolio on these the first structured product that you actually run into. You're like, oh, yeah. No, you need to learn how it works, watch it perform, then decide what brings, if you want to actually bring it home and, meet it, do a little meet and greet with your retirement plan.
Love that. Yeah. And in general, that's just good advice for any investment you might get involved with.
Exactly. Then we've got step 5, read the term sheet. Yes, actually read all the words. Don't just read the first paragraph.
Don't skim it. Don't spark note it.
Yeah, don't spark note. Exactly. That's probably not very good. Yeah. So this is where the magic lives, or even some of the traps. So you want to make sure that you're reading all this. The term sheet will typically outline what the underlying asset is, which, as we've mentioned multiple times, is a big deal. How the returns are calculated, also a big deal. What the risks are, the biggest deal. And how long your money is locked in. And then you've got one more, which is whether there's a cap on the returns. So again, up, down, whichever one you want to make sure. So if you can't actually explain the product back to somebody in plain English, that obviously means that you don't understand it fully. So maybe just hang tight. That's probably a red flag for yourself. Just hold tight.
Yeah. That's good advice for sure.
Yeah.
So hopefully we haven't confused our listeners too much. SIPs offer a blend of that customization, protection, and potential returns. And this can make them a really valuable addition to the alternative investment landscape and potentially even your portfolio.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for everyone. I would say definitely not for everyone, but not every investment is. But for our informed investors, SIPs can provide an avenue to tailor investment strategies specifically to you and your goals, and how you feel the market might perform, And remember, if it sounds too good to be true, like 20% guaranteed returns, free yacht, and maybe you get like a private phone call with Warren Buffett to pick his brain.
I like that. I would almost take that over the yacht. I mean, I'm definitely see myself on a yacht one day, but I mean, Warren Buffett, he is the man when it comes to investing. So I would definitely, a conversation with him might be
yeah, but if someone's, promising that to you, it's probably not legit.
Probably not. Too good to be true. We hear that so many times. So we want our listeners to remember, invest smart, invest slow, and, for the love of the finance over here, never skip the fine print.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. We hope to catch you next time on another episode of Alternative Investments Chat.
Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more insight on our next episode.
And don't forget to subscribe to continue the Alternative Investments Chat. See you next time.
Content provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as professional, financial, or investment advice. This podcast should not be construed as an offer to sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy any securities. We strongly recommend that you seek advice from a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.